Hi, I'm Salty. Welcome back. Thanks for watching. I've had a lot of requests to film a quick shop tour video. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've uploaded. I'm just really bad at picking up the camera. So, well, I'm pretty informal and I'm kind of run and gun, so I guess we're just gonna shoot a quick shop tour video. And then I want to, after the tour, I'm just going to address a couple of questions that come to me that are pretty common. It seems like everyone asks the same questions, so I'm going to address them in this video. So this is my electronics bench. Right now it's just kind of covered in shmoo. It's fine. I really can't even get to it because I've got recycling here and I've got more recycling there. But once in a while I use it. I keep my sandpaper in a drawer there, and then that box down there has sandpaper in it, so that's a thing. And then behind me is my tool chest that I go to for automotive stuff, other repair stuff. You know, it's tool chests. So this is probably my favorite woodworking piece that I've built yet. Only because it's convenient. It's a two-sided lumber rack. It's kind of triangular in shape, you know. The whole thing is on wheels, so I can wheel it in and out of the shop as I need to and make myself some space. This side is all offcuts and sheets that, you know, pieces of sheet that, you know, I cut that I don't, you know, have need of immediately. So I've got them so I can draw from what I call the library later in the future. I've got dimensional offcuts here. I've got full length dimensional in the middle, and then on the back side I've got full sheets, and I can wheel the whole thing out to the back of my truck, slide the sheet off and onto the rack, and then wheel the rack in, and it takes strain off of me and my back. So behind me is the big bench that I built in the last video. You can watch that. I'll put a card in one of the corners somewhere. It's still going strong. It's still rock solid. I've got a couple things. I've got a lot of things on the bench right now. It's a bit of a mess. It's not normally this messy. Also, my lights just turned off, so that's great. But it's still going strong. I can still get up and dance on it, and I'm 237 pounds or some such to that effect right now. Most of my tools are portable. This is probably the only tool outside of maybe that joiner that is off frame over here that I'll show you some B-roll of in a minute, that are going to be stationary. I had a table saw that I bought used that was terrible. It was very lightweight and very underpowered, and as I was pushing wood through, it would just scooch across the floor, and I'd be chasing it across the shop trying to feed it wood, and I decided that's probably really not that safe. So as a Christmas gift, I went and bought myself a folding Cobalt table saw. It's bass-ackwards, as you can see, but that's okay. It's fine. It folds up, it has a decent fence on it, and it has dust collection, which is, I like dust collection. Because in my shop I don't have a proper dust collector. I've just got the Mighty Rigid shop vac, and that's my dust collection for the whole shop. So I can wheel this out, and then when I'm done with it, I can just find the release lever and fold it up, and it's out of my way. I can put it in the corner, and it doesn't take up a lot of shop floor space. This is a late 50s to early 60s Craftsman joiner that was given to me for free on the world's most rickety stand. I can run a serial number on the front of it, and I get copywritten like tech blueprints for it that are copyright dated 1966. So I think the machine itself is maybe late 50s to early 60s, perhaps. I'm not sure of exact date of manufacture. All I know is it's really heavy. Between the machine itself and the motor, which is mounted underneath, I think, and the stand, I think it weighs in excess of 150 pounds. I was going to put it on wheels, and I decided after I got most of the stand constructed, it's not finished yet. I still need to take it apart, take the machine back off, and finish it, and sand it, and all that. But I decided, you know, once I got the rough stand constructed, that I decided I wasn't going to put wheels on because it's too heavy, and it's going to be one of those tools that I really don't need to move around much. So that's that. I do have a couple of active other projects outside of the joiner, though this has been my primary project of the past couple of months at least. But it's just kind of been in the shop and in the way, and I've got it ready to run. I was just test running it a few minutes ago, and I'm happy with it. This was given to me. I'm very grateful to the gentleman that gave it to me, who said it was basically taking up space in his shop and he needed it out of the way. So this is my biggest tool, my biggest singular tool that I own to date. Behind the joiner, I've got a couple other active projects. One of them is up here. This is a paint booth for small projects that I've got a ducted blower fan on the bench behind me. This will allow me to paint and not have overspray coating every surface of my shop. I am dealing with about, well, it's technically a 2-car garage, but it's a very small 2-car garage, so it's about a car and a half. And so everything I've got needs to be mobile. I can't even get to it right now because my table saw's in the way, because I can't put the table saw in the corner, because my 3D printer cabinet, which still needs a stand, is sitting on a portable table waiting for the stand to be built. So that's and then over there, back there underneath the blue blanket, is a flight sim / driving sim rig that I've been working on, because one of my very favorite games to play, a couple of my very favorite games to play, are Elite Dangerous, which is a space flying sim, or space flight game. Would you call it a sim? I don't think I'd call it a sim. My Summer Car, if you haven't seen My Summer Car, go check it out. It's a fun game. It's brutal. And then Euro Truck Sim, I enjoy just driving a truck. I like to drive. I don't know. Don't judge me. Anyhoozle, I'm going to take you over to the bench and show you a couple of my tools that people have asked, you know, what's my, you know, number one tool that I use. Well, I'll talk about that in the next clip. And I also want to answer a couple of questions that I get all the time regarding my hobby, woodworking, and that sort of thing. So I'll see you over there. Okay, welcome back. I apologize for the Bassmaster next door. I wanted to address a couple of questions that I've had. I also apologize for the shaky camera work. If looks could kill. Anyway, I want to address a few questions that have come to me that seem to be asked by everybody. The first of which is, are you making money? And the short answer is yes and no. I'm doing side projects that I can, you know, sell or get monetary gain off of, but it's not my primary focus, because if this were to be a primary focus for me, I think I'd end up hating it pretty quickly. I get bored easy, and if I'm out here 8 hours a day, you know, snorting sawdust, I think I would end up getting tired of it quickly and wanting to move on to something else, and then it would no longer be a hobby for me, it'd be a job. So yes, I'm making money, but no, this is not my priority. My priority is my job, my day job. I've also had a lot of questions about the tools I use and what tools I use the most. Well, I've kind of got them lined up here on the bench. Chief among them, it's very obvious at this point, I think, that I am a DeWalt fanboy. I love my DeWalt stuff. Actually, what started the DeWalt thing for me are my 20 volt max tools, my drill, and my impact driver. I bought these on a Black Friday sale. They came in this box, and I think I got them for I mean, between the two, yeah, each one of the tools is like $100 on its own, and the box is like another 50. And I think I got the whole thing for $125 on a Black Friday sale. And these were so good to me that I decided if I'm gonna buy into the DeWalt cordless system, I'd better like the tools. And DeWalt definitely, they provided a satisfactory tool to me. What? I don't know what.
Give me the drill. Go on.
She wants to cuddle. All right. Anyway, prior to me getting the table saw, my number one most used tool was my Makita Hypoid saw. When I first started woodworking, I had one of my dad's old. It was a Black & Decker saw that was dreadful, and it couldn't. I mean, the motor was just blown out of it. The bearings were gone. It wanted to steer all the way down the slice as you're cutting. It was loud. It was uncomfortable. I hated it. It was left-handed. I'm ambidextrous.
Sorry, that was an accident.
I'm ambidextrous, but I prefer a right-handed saw because my right hand is a little more stable. I used a friend's Makita Hypoid saw from probably the 60s, and the thing is heavy, it's loud, but it could cut a straight line really easy, and I was really happy with it. So I went and bought one of my own. It weighs a jillion pounds, and I like it. One of the mods I made really quick was I gave it the neuter. I sliced the cord off because I hate the 10-foot long, crazy, stupid, terrible cord they give me. So I sliced it off, and I bought Nutric PowerCon connectors. They're locking connectors. These ones are rated at 20 amps at 250 volts, which is way more power than this saw is ever going to take. And they're locking. I've got a cord set up. You insert them, and then you twist them, and they're locked in. And that allows me to use the tool, and then when I'm done with it, I can unlock it and set the cord aside, and that way I'm not tripping on the cord and ripping my really heavy, expensive saw off the table. I've done that to my router and my biscuit joiner as well. This is the second of this saw that I've owned for that reason. The old one I tripped, and it came flying off the workbench, and the casting broke, the motor separated from the base plate. It was messed up, so I replaced it. Home Depot was very gracious with their warranty there. Then comes my DeWalt impact driver and power drill that my wife is playing with right now. I did buy a DeWalt tape measure just because I've got black and yellow tools. I may as well stay with black and yellow. You probably shouldn't play with that without, adult supervision. I guess that means we need to find an adult. I was given a I was given a DeWalt router with 2 bases as a gift. My grandmother gave me an older Black & Decker router that was actually in okay shape, but the switch has gone out of it. I want to bypass the switch and put that on a router lift, and I'm using my DeWalt variable speed router with my 2 bases quite often. Then, probably my most favorite tool. This is a biscuit joiner. I don't have furniture clamps at all. So, it's got a blade down inside, and what this does is it just cuts a slot in a piece of wood. And that slot, you insert a biscuit. The biscuits are made of hardwood, and in the presence of glue, they expand. So they swell up in the presence of glue. And that effectively locks the glued butt joint in place. It gives it more lateral strength because now you have physical wood going between the 2 pieces. And you have to use a high moisture content glue. My preferred glue is Titebond 2. I had to think about that for a second. That's the glue that I'm using right now, and I like it. Gives me a 6-minute setup time, I think. And it's semi-water resistant. These are cheap, and you can get a lot of them. I just bought this when I bought the biscuit joiner. I did buy this, and it's also had the neuter done. This has been a really cool tool because that's how I built my paint booth. That's how I built the 3D printer stand. I've built some other stuff besides using biscuits. And then I don't have any furniture clamps, so I use a pneumatic brad nailer, which is also DeWalt, because why not? Everything is fine. So then, well, the thing about a wood shop is it makes a lot of sawdust, and sawdust really gets everywhere. So the Mighty Rigid handles that for me. I've had this vacuum for years. When my old shop vac bit the dust, the shop vac, my wife's just shaking her head, that was bad. The shop vac didn't have a bypass motor, and the way it cooled itself was it used, you know, dusty air that had been sucked through the vacuum to cool the motor. The problem is that dust and schmoo builds up in the motor and causes it to overheat, which it did, and the bearings were out of it. So I bought the Rigid because it does have a bypass style motor. So the air that the vacuum sucks in is separate from the air that goes in through these vents to cool the motor. And that way, if I clog the uptake of the vacuum, it doesn't overheat. The motor can continue to cool itself. And also better longevity, better filters. The price was right. I don't remember what I paid for it. I've had this thing for like a decade. It's a little loud, but I mean, it's a good vacuum. It came with the world's worst slinky hose that I'm going to replace. You can get the Pro hose. It's like a $40 upgrade, but it's worth it. But this is a 1 7/8 inch hose that goes to a 2.5 inch adapter reducer where it goes into the vacuum. So what I actually did was, hey baby, can you hand me that hose over there, please? Because the dust collection port on the table saw is 2.5 inch, and the vacuum has a 2.5 inch, thank you love, has a 2.5 inch port on it. I bought some 2.5 inch dust collector hose and some ends, so it's a lot more flexible, and then I can plug this into whatever tool I'm using that I'm collecting sawdust from, which I'm going to also adapt my joiner to do the same thing. It's going to have the same 2.5 inch, so I can plug into it. That's the majority of my tools. I've got the table saw, which is really convenient. It has a nice fence on it. I did buy a DeWalt cordless vacuum for small cleanups, but it's a little underpowered. It's really loud, but it's been an invaluable tool to me because I've used it a lot since I bought it. The only downside that I have with it is the little batteries that I've got that came with my drills. These are not very high capacity, so they wear out quickly. But the big 9 amp hour batteries are like $300. A guy just doesn't have that kind of money laying around. And that's about it. That's the majority of the tools that I use. I don't make it a focus to make money off of woodworking. It's a hobby. It just happens to be playtime with benefits when I can make something and make a little bit of scratch off of it. But it's not a priority. Any hoozle, I think that's that. If you have any more questions, comments, you know what to do. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'm gonna make it a point to post more in 2021 because times are shitty and I think everyone needs a little bit of time to decompress a little bit. That's everything. I still don't have an outro, so bye.